Day 1 of the fourth test between Australia and England was not just another day of test cricket. It was not simply a bowler-friendly surface. It was not just poor batting. What we witnessed was something deeper, more uncomfortable, and far more revealing about modern cricket. 20 wickets fell in a single day. Top orders collapsed. Confidence vanished within minutes. And by the end of the day, fans around the world were asking the same question. Was this great test cricket, or was this a warning sign for the future of the game? For Indian fans especially, this day felt painfully familiar. We have seen this story before. Overseas tours. Early collapses. Batters frozen by movement, pressure, and fear. And a modern generation that talks about intent, but struggles when the game demands survival. Day 1 at the McKee was not just about Australia versus England. It was about technique versus aggression. Patience versus ego. And the growing conflict between traditional test cricket, and the habits built by T20. This day exposed everyone. Why Day 1 shocked the cricket world. Cricket fans are used to collapses. They happen. Even great teams fail. But what made this day shocking was the speed, the repetition, and the helplessness. Australia, at home, at the McKee, were bowled out for 152. England responded with an even worse collapse, folding for just 110. At no point did either team look in control. At no point did the bat dominate the ball. There were no long partnerships. No periods of calm. No sense of adaptation. From the very first session, the match felt rushed. Batters looked like they were playing against time, not the bowlers. This is where Indian fans immediately recognized the danger. Because we have seen this exact pattern in World Cups, overseas tests, and knockout matches. The moment pressure increases, modern batters rush their decisions. They stop trusting defense. They stop trusting patience. And instead, they try to force momentum where none exists. This day shocked fans because it felt like cricket forgot how to breathe. The pitch and conditions, the uncomfortable truth. The McKee pitch became the center of debate almost immediately. Some called it a classic test wicket. Others called it dangerous. Many blamed it entirely for the collapses. The truth lies somewhere in between. Yes, there was grass. Yes, there was seam movement. Yes, the morning session offered assistance. But this was not an unplayable pitch. The ball did not swing extravagantly all day. It did not seem sideways every delivery. There were periods where batters could have survived. The real problem was not movement. It was indecision. Batters were caught between two instincts. One built for T20 cricket. The other required for test survival. They neither committed to defense nor fully trusted attack. This is the most dangerous mental space for a batter. Indian fans should pay attention here. Because overseas, especially in places like Australia, England, and South Africa, the pitch does not forgive hesitation. You either leave well, defend late, or attack with absolute clarity. Half measures get you out. That is what happened all day. Australia's first innings, the beginning of panic. Australia walked in with confidence. Home conditions. Familiar ground. A crowd behind them. And yet, from the very beginning, something felt off. The openers did not look settled. Footwork was uncertain. Heads were falling over. Hands were pushing at the ball instead of playing under the eyes. These are not technical flaws you expect from an elite test side at home. But they appeared within minutes. This tells us something important. Pressure does not wait for scorecards. It arrives with expectation. Australia were expected to dominate. And that expectation created impatience. Instead of building an innings, batters tried to impose themselves too early. This is the same mistake we have seen Indian batters make overseas. Trying to dominate conditions before understanding them. The result was predictable. Edges carried. Pads were trapped. Defensive strokes became aggressive mistakes. Australia were not outplayed. They were hurried. Why this matters for T20 cricket and the World Cup? Some will say this is only Test cricket. That it has nothing to do with T20s or the World Cup. That is wrong. The habits formed in T20 cricket do not disappear in tests. They sit in the mind. They influence shot selection. They affect risk tolerance. When batters are trained to attack from ball one, patience becomes unfamiliar. And when patience feels unfamiliar, pressure becomes overwhelming. This is exactly what Indian fans worry about every World Cup. Great players. Huge talent. But when the moment demands restraint, instinct takes over. Day one of this test was a warning. Not just for England. Not just for Australia. But for every team heading into high-pressure tournaments, especially the T20 World Cup. As the day progressed, the collapses did not stop. In fact, they became worse. England's response would expose even deeper flaws. Mental, tactical, and philosophical. And that collapse deserves its own ruthless examination. England's bowling, discipline over drama. After Australia were dismissed for 152, the immediate reaction was to criticize the batting. But doing that alone misses a crucial truth. England's bowlers were exceptional. Not spectacular. Not flashy. But relentlessly disciplined. They did not chase magic deliveries. They did not overpitch in search of swing. They did not fall into the trap of bowling too full or too short. Instead, they bowled the most dangerous length in Test cricket. That uncomfortable area, where the batter is never sure whether to go forward or back. This is where modern batters struggle the most. England's bowlers understood that patience would create mistakes. And they trusted that process. Field placements told the story. Catching positions were in place early. There was belief that edges would come. And they did. Australia did not lose wickets because of unplayable balls. They lost wickets because pressure built ball after ball. Indian fans should note this carefully. Because this is exactly how overseas teams dismantle visiting sides. They do not attack recklessly. They suffocate. This is how tests are won. The mental battle Australia lost. One of the biggest myths in cricket is that confidence always helps batting. In reality, confidence without caution becomes arrogance. Australia walked in believing the pitch would flatten. They believed runs would come naturally. That belief lasted only a few overs. Once the ball started doing just enough, uncertainty crept in. And uncertainty is fatal at the top level. Batters began second-guessing themselves. Leave or play. Defend or counterattack. That hesitation turned routine balls into wicket-taking deliveries. This was not England overpowering Australia. This was England waiting for Australia to defeat themselves. England's batting, a collapse that demands honesty. If Australia's batting was hurried, England's was chaotic. England began their innings already under pressure. Low score. Expectations of aggression. A pitch that demanded caution. And within minutes, the match slipped away. 16 for 4. Let that sink in. 16 runs. 4 wickets. At this level, this is not a technical failure alone. This is psychological collapse. England's batters did not look prepared to survive. They looked prepared to entertain. And Test cricket does not reward entertainment without responsibility. This is where the buzzball philosophy came under its harshest examination. Because intent without awareness is not bravery. It is recklessness. Buzzball, where IT failed, buzzball is built on fearlessness. On removing doubt. On trusting instinct. But fearlessness does not mean ignoring conditions. On this pitch, survival was the first challenge. Runs were the reward for patience. England skipped the first step. Instead of absorbing pressure, they tried to escape it. And pressure does not disappear when you attack blindly. It multiplies. This is a lesson Indian fans know painfully well. In World Cups, in overseas tests, in knockout matches, we have seen the same mistake. Players try to seize control instead of earning it. And when the plan fails, collapse follows. Harry Brook, the lone resistance amid the chaos, one innings, stood out. Harry Brook? His knock was not perfect. It was not flawless. But it was brave in the right way. Brook understood something his teammates did not. That aggression must come after assessment. He survived first. Then he attacked selectively. This is the difference between reckless intent and intelligent aggression. Brook's innings mattered not because of the runs alone, but because of what it represented. It showed that batting was possible. Difficult, yes. But possible. That makes England's collapse even more damning. Australia's bowling, pressure as a weapon. Australia responded with ruthless efficiency. There were no wild celebrations. No over-celebration of wickets. Just relentless accuracy. This is where Australia have always been strongest. They do not hunt wickets. They create inevitability. Every over asked the same question of England's batters. Can you survive? Most could not. Edges came because batters felt trapped. LBWs came because footwork froze. This was not domination through speed or swing. This was domination through patience. A lesson every team heading into major tournaments must learn. The bigger warning for modern cricket day one of this test was not an anomaly. It was a symptom. Modern cricket is producing batters who are fearless, but not always resilient. The ability to absorb pressure is disappearing. And in high-stakes matches, pressure is unavoidable. This is where India's T20 World Cup hopes must be examined honestly. Talent is not the issue. Skill is not the issue. Temperament is. Day 1 at the Mackay reminded us that when conditions turn hostile, only clarity of thought survives. Transition. By the end of the day, Australia held a narrow lead. But the scoreline told only half the story. The real damage had already been done. Because this match was no longer just about runs. It was about philosophy. And that battle would define the rest of the test. India parallels, T20 World Cup impact, match trajectory, Final verdict: why this day matters most for India. For Indian cricket fans, this match should not be watched as a neutral spectacle. It should be watched as a mirror. Because everything that went wrong on day one has happened to India before. Often. Painfully. At the worst possible moments. Overseas tests where the ball moves just enough. Knockout matches where pressure compresses decision-making. Situations where batters try to force momentum instead of building it. India has some of the most technically gifted batters in the world. But technique alone is not enough when fear enters the contest. Day one reminded us of a hard truth. Pressure does not test skill first. It tests clarity. When clarity disappears, even the best players look ordinary. This is the real lesson India must absorb heading into the T20 World Cup. T20 cricket, a double-edged sword. T20 cricket has given modern players incredible tools. Power. Range. Confidence. But it has also quietly removed something vital. The ability to wait. Waiting feels uncomfortable to players raised on constant scoring. Silence at the crease feels like failure. Dot balls feel like danger. But in Test cricket, and in pressure matches, waiting is survival. Day one exposed how deeply T20 habits have entered the mind. Batters were not beaten by balls. They were beaten by impatience. This matters for the T20 World Cup because knockouts are not free-flowing games. They are tense. They are ugly. They are restrictive. And when freedom disappears, discipline must replace it. Teams that cannot slow themselves down collapse. Why this match is a warning for the World Cup? Many fans will ask why a test match should matter to a T20 tournament. The answer is simple. Pressure behaves the same across formats. Crowds? Expectations? Moments? Only the scoring rate changes. Day one showed us what happens when players panic under uncertainty. In a T20 World Cup semi-final, the same panic leads to reckless shots. Soft dismissals. Momentum loss. The team that wins the World Cup will not be the most aggressive one. It will be the most adaptable one. This is where India must be brutally honest with itself. Aggression must be controlled. Intent must be situational. And ego must never dictate shot selection. Match trajectory: who is actually ahead at the end of day one? Australia held a narrow lead. But this match is far from settled. The pitch will change. The ball will age. But pressure will remain. Australia's second innings will define this test. If they rush again, England stay alive. If they build patiently, England will be buried. England, meanwhile, face a philosophical crossroads. Do they double down on aggression? Or do they adapt? Bazball has never faced a challenge this stark. This is not a flat pitch where intent is rewarded. This is a surface that punishes arrogance. The team that learns fastest will win. The final verdict: what day one will be remembered for years from now, this day will not be remembered for the scorecards. It will be remembered for what it revealed. It revealed that modern cricket is at a crossroads. Between freedom and discipline. Between entertainment and survival. It reminded us that cricket, at its core, is a thinking game. And thinking disappears when fear takes over. Day one was not a failure of skill. It was a failure of patience. And that is the most dangerous failure of all. Because skill can be trained. Patience must be earned. Cricket does not forgive arrogance. It only rewards those who adapt. England respond, control the chaos, and seize the test. Day 2 changed everything. What began as a chaotic test on day 1 turned into a statement of intent from England on day 2. This was not survival. This was response. After being embarrassed with the bat on day 1, England came back not with noise, but with clarity. And by the end of the day, they had not just stayed in the game. They had taken control of it. England's turnaround, from collapse to control. The most impressive thing England did on day 2 was mental. They did not panic about day 1. They did not abandon belief. They did not chase redemption recklessly. Instead, they reset. England understood one crucial truth that Australia failed to grasp early. This pitch rewarded discipline more than bravado. And once England aligned their approach with conditions, the match swung sharply. Australia's second innings, pressure returns. Australia began day 2 knowing a solid second innings would bury England. Instead, pressure returned immediately. The movement was still there. The bounce was still awkward. But the biggest problem was England's intensity. England bowled with sharper plans. Better lengths. Clearer fields. This time, Australia did not have the luxury of settling in. Wickets fell because batters were forced to play. Because scoring became uncomfortable. Because England stopped releasing pressure. This was not England hoping for mistakes. This was England creating them. England's bowling discipline finally matches intent. On day 1, England's bowlers were good. On day 2, they were ruthless. They tightened their lines. They challenged the stumps relentlessly. They attacked weaknesses instead of chasing magic balls. The difference was patience. Every over built pressure. Every dot ball mattered. Australia were not blown away. They were squeezed. And squeezed teams crack. The moment the test turned. Every test has a turning point. On day 2, it came when England refused to let Australia escape. Small partnerships were broken quickly. Momentum never settled. The lead stayed manageable. Instead of chasing a miracle chase later, England kept the game within reach. That discipline won them the test. England's batting, calm under pressure chasing was never going to be easy. But England approached it differently from day 1. There was no rush. No forced intent. No unnecessary aggression. Batters trusted defense first. They respected conditions. They waited for scoring opportunities. This was buzzball with restraint. And this is the version that works. The chase was built on clarity, not chaos. And that clarity took England across the line. Why day 2 belonged to England? England won day 2 because they adapted faster. Australia assumed control would come naturally. England earned it deliberately. That is the difference between belief and entitlement. England learned from failure. Australia expected recovery without adjustment. Test cricket always punishes that assumption. What this means for modern cricket: this match did not disprove aggressive cricket. It refined it. England showed that aggression must be earned, not imposed. Buzzball is not dead. It simply needed discipline. And on day 2, England proved they can play ugly cricket when required. That makes them dangerous. India and the World Cup parallel. Indian fans should watch this carefully. Because this is the template for knockout wins. Not dominance. Not flair. Adaptation? England lost badly on day 1. They responded intelligently on day 2. That ability to reset under pressure is exactly what wins global tournaments. Talent gets you noticed. Adjustment gets you trophies. Final verdict, England's statement day 2 was England's answer to doubt. Not through noise, not through bravado, but through control. They absorbed pressure. They applied it back. And they walked away with the result. This test will be remembered not for the collapses, but for the response. Because in cricket, as in life, the team that learns fastest wins. End of day 2 review, England win.